and welcome back to my channel. In this video you have my August unboxings. Hopefully this month I will not forget to film an outro. I have 3 boxes here, 3 of the ones that I usually get earlier in the month. That is Book of the Month, my comic subscription, and my Caffeine and Legends. I believe that I have skipped Goldsboro this month. It was a Psyche and Eros retelling, definitely fantasy romance. I know that there are some that I have skipped or I've thought about skipping for August, but it also might be September. I have to keep up on that because I've been ending up, especially with Fairy Loot, with some books that I'm just not interested in. But let's get into the books that I do have. I'm going to start with my comic subscription. I am so glad that I decided to switch to the kids version of this because I have been able to slowly, like over time, build up the graphic novels that I have in my classroom. Obviously, I want even more in my classroom for my kids to choose from, but this is a really good way to find some that I probably wouldn't have thought of before. So once again, we've got a couple extra things in here. It's nice they don't have the pin set anymore. We've got an art print and we've got some stickers. So that's super cool. All right, this looks like it's another fantasy one. This is Rune, The Tale of a Thousand Faces. I really like the imagery that you can sort of see here on her shield. So this is deep in the forest of Little Valley lies a secret lost in time and darkness. So I think it's an idea where some kids from our normal world travel through, it's like a portal fantasy. See, I knew those words were in there somewhere. Next, we have my Book of the Month subscription. I will say that I'm not necessarily as hyped for my main selection, but I really wanted one of the add-ons, so I had to choose one of the main selections. That one, it's a bit of a stretch for me. Well, this is really interesting. This is included in here. Volume 0, A Spell for Disappearing. Darker, edgier, stranger. Want more? Add the latest issue of Volume 0 to your next box via the Book of the Month app. They didn't say anything about this anywhere on the app. This sounds something like horror, which is not necessarily my preferred genre. I'll have to do some more digging and find out about this. Okay, so the one that was a stretch for me is Like Mother, Like Daughter. This is a thriller, and I was sufficiently intrigued by it to get it for my pick this month. A booktuber that I follow read this recently, but I cannot remember what they thought of it. Basically, a daughter goes to her mother's apartment, is expecting to find her, but finds her bloody shoe, and the mom's not there. But then it turns out that her mom is not exactly who she thought she was. I'm not really well versed on thrillers, so this may or may not work for me. But I am really intrigued to try it, to test my reading taste in that genre, a genre that I haven't read a lot of. This one, the one that I really wanted, is a whole lot bigger than I thought it would be. And that is T. Kingfisher's newest release. This is A Sorceress Comes to Call. This is her newest release. It's a dark fairy tale retelling. Interestingly, they didn't put any genre on their little Book of the Month symbol there. I forget which fairy tale this is a retelling of, but I really enjoy T. Kingfisher's fantasy retellings. I'm almost certain that this will probably be on the Goodreads fantasy list. I love how I said I'm almost certain that this will probably. Make sense of that if you can, because I certainly can't. All right, so we're gonna finish off with my Caffeine and Legends box, which has a few extras in it. We start off with the spoiler card, Weird and Wonderful. First thing in here is, oh, I'm so excited. I just saw this video by the YouTubers Nate and Kara. I can't even believe I did that. I'm definitely gonna have to leave that in there. I had to stop and think. I know I just switched something, but what are their actual names? Anyway, they're YouTubers, they're travel, they do lots of travel, and this was an older video where from this, no, it wasn't an older video, it was their newest video where they actually completed this epic 4-day walk, which is like 200 kilometers in the Netherlands. And at one point he mentions like he gets this fresh stroopwafel. I love stroopwafel, so I'm really excited about that. All right, this is going to be very helpful because I have a bag of brown sugar in my kitchen cupboard that when it comes to getting some of that into the container that I used when I'm actually needing to use it, it's like chiseling. This is brown sugar savor. So basically it softens rock hard brown sugar and it keeps it soft. You soak the dish in water for 15 minutes. Okay, I guess I know what I'm going to be doing once I finish filming this clip. This is actually incredibly necessary. Then we have the coffee, and that is Twin Engines coffee. This seems very familiar, that brand does. I wonder where they produce it. I'm not sure, but I have heard of Twin Engines coffee. I'm hoping that this is not a dark roast because I've discovered the last two were dark roasts and it's just not my favorite because it tastes more burnt, and that's not a coffee taste that I enjoy. I know that there's more caffeine in dark roast because even though to me it tastes burnt, it's blonde roasts, light roasts that actually do the most. Obviously I'm not a coffee expert, so go to someone who is, but I prefer medium to light roast coffee. So hopefully that's what this is. I just looked on the sides and I can't see what kind of roast it is, but we'll definitely give it a try. And now comes time for the book. And that book is The West Passage. I'm excited about this book, and I can't remember whether or not I made a little book cover sticker because it was this upcoming subscription or a different one. So I might end up with a double, but I am definitely excited about this book. It's always nice when they put hardcovers in here. This is the traditional printing of it. There is a signed book plate. This is The Lady's Reign, The Palace Rots, The Beast Rises. Interesting. When the guardian of the West Passage died in her bed, the women of Grey Tower fed her to the crows and went back to their chores. That is not what I expected when I started reading that sentence. Okay, I'm not sure what I think about this or what this is going to be. I guess it's going to be, it is blurbed by Jen Lyons. So, okay, listen to Jen Lyons' blurb. She's one of my favorites. Underneath the West Passage's pretty exterior is an utterly strange and alien landscape that is captivating, capricious, and full of dark places. Endlessly fascinating, beautifully written, and sublimely weird. If Jen Lyons says that something is weird, I think that's my kind of weird, which makes me very excited to read this. Okay, I'm back with my next set of unboxings. I think I'll probably have only a couple more boxes after this. I did skip Goldsboro, so I will not have a Goldsboro this month. I will have Owl Crate. I've decided to sign up for their adult book only box. I was really intrigued by the book that they had for this month. The waitlist opened up. Granted, it is a double of a book that I got from Book of the Month, which was the only reason that I got a box from Book of the Month this month. Be that as it may, I mean, I would have skipped it this month had I known that I was gonna get a spot on Owl Crate. Be that as it may, I would rather have the pretty books, especially if I'm going to like the book. And Owl Crate apparently has unlimited skips. So that should work if I keep up on what the books are going to be. Now let's move into the unboxings that I have in front of me, and we're gonna start with Fairy Loot. Again, I do not know whether this is the YA or the adult. This is the young adult book. So we have plastic wrap and these little things around it. But this cover, oh my word, this is one of the best designed covers that I have seen. I love that. So the book is The Girl with No Reflection. We've got solid block sprayed edges. We've got this gorgeous design on the side, I believe of koi fish. We have reverse dust cover art, which it could be turned around. I'm not going to be. I love this design so much. And then we have, oh wow, that is so cool. And then look at the back. That is fascinating. So we've got end page art, unique on both sides. Interesting. So she is a princess, but she's betrothed to another prince. She's hoping for fairy tale romance. He seems very cold and indifferent, and so she spends all of her time in her room with her reflection, and apparently there is a mirror prince. Romance leaning, but this seems really intriguing. I've not heard of this before, but I'm very intrigued by it. Next we have Illumicrate. I have no idea what book is in here. Again, we've got the paper crinklies and a shrink-wrapped book. It will never make sense to me. I'm trying not to look at the book because the colors on this look so good. All right, so the book we have is The Phoenix Keeper. Oh, I have heard of this. Okay, but just look at that design. That is gorgeous. So we've got the design on the end, and on the end pages here, it looks like it goes all the way through. And then on the back it says, falling in love never burns so bright. So this seems romance. I'll give it to them. Oh my, Illumicrate keeps doing it. It's the printed on, smooth feeling cover. Just look at that. That is so pretty. World famous San Tamkulo Zoo helps save the Silamalo Phoenix. So many pretty books this year. I have yet to read any of the very, very pretty ones yet this year, but this one might take the cake. Oh, I just love how it feels. We've got end page art, which is unique on both sides. I've heard that this is fairly cozy. Just the design in it looks so good. I'm so excited about this, and I haven't even read the synopsis. Oh, okay. I did hear about this very recently. So here's a little blurb about it, not the whole synopsis, but against an epic fantasy backdrop, teeming with all of your favorite mythical beasts, from dragons and unicorns to kelpies and krakens, The Phoenix Keeper combines the cozy fantasy stakes of TJ Klune and Travis Baldree with the heartwarming contemporary romance of Alice Oseman and Casey McQuiston. Okay, so I do not have any familiarity with the romance side of it, but I have loved the TJ Klune books that I've read, and I've really enjoyed the Travis Baldree books that I've read. So I'm really excited about this, and I think this is just going to be so much fun to read, and it's just so pretty. This kind of cozy I can deal with. This actually reminds me, especially the end page art, it reminds me of Dinosaur Sanctuary, which I read during the Amazing Readathon, that manga. I was waiting for a little romance to happen there. None got started, but you could see hints of it, so I'm hoping that maybe further on in the series we get a little bit of that. But I know most of the time I say that I'm not into romance, but sometimes I'm okay with it. And then lastly, we have Broken Binding. This one, I know what the book is, and it is not going to add to my own TBR. The other books in this series will. Impeccably packaged, as usual. Oh, we have another art print this time. Oh, that's stunning. I don't have any place for art prints this size because the notebooks that I got from previous book boxes are smaller, but they are gorgeous. I'll have to figure out a place for them. So this is book 1 in the Greenbone saga. So this is Jade City. I love that every single one of these books is hand wrapped. So much fun. There's been a lot of talk about the choice of the design for the covers and the mock-ups that they've already released, but I really think that it fits the series, at least what I have read of Jade City so far. So here we go. Here is this, the front cover and back cover, and then the sprayed edging is stained glass window inspired. Expectations are a funny thing. When you're born with them, you resent them, fight against them. When you've never been given any, you feel the lack of them your whole life. Well done. And we have end page art. Love the green tone to this. Interesting. They have text. Oh, that's not the end page. I wonder. Oh, okay. There's not usually a problem with this. Oh, never mind. Never mind. I thought there was a flaw in the design, but there is not a flaw in the design. There's a map on the back. I love maps. This is a color map, a fold-out color map of the city of Janloon. Well, that is phenomenal. And then this looks like a subway. And then we have the cover itself. The clan is my blood and the pillar is its master. The designs that Broken Binding do are just phenomenal. I know there's going to be a lot of comparisons of this set to the, I believe, Fairy Loot set that they did before I had read them, so I don't have any personal comparison. I'm just glad to be getting the set now. Okay, I'm back with another unboxing. I think this is the second to last unboxing that I'm going to do for August. I have an Illumicrate and a Fairy Loot. Pretty sure that the Illumicrate is a special edition, although it might be the monthly, but I'm pretty sure it's the special edition. So let's start with that one. Yes, it is a special edition, but not the special edition that I thought. That one must still be coming. All right, so we have Ami by S.J. Jones. This is the sequel in the Guardians of the Dawn series, the sequel to Zara. I really enjoyed that one. I love the color scheme on this. Looks almost like it's like a murky ombre sort of thing here. And then we've got a subtle but pretty design on the side. This cover is the same on both sides. Again, I love the way they do these special editions. So even though Zara wasn't a 5 stars, I love the way that they have done these books. So we have end page art, which is the same on both sides. And then we have the color. Did I say color? I meant cover. I love the way that they print this, and it looks like a light novel or a manga. And it's The Maiden Who Is Loved by Death, Volume 2. So that is something that's brought up a lot in the original book, which I definitely enjoyed. So I'm glad that I have this special edition. Next we have Fairy Loot. I think I already have the adult version, but I'm not 100% certain. No, I have the young adult for this month because this is the adult one. I'm a little bit nervous about this, but I think that the premise could definitely work. The book is Long Live Evil. I'm not necessarily a huge fan of the style, but I get it. So we've got design on the top and the bottom. We've got design on the side. Ooh, I like that sword there. Not necessarily a fan of the end page art. It's well done. I just don't necessarily like the front cover, but there's a lot of characters in here. And we've got reverse dust cover art. I do like the art better on the reverse, but I probably will not be switching it out. I typically don't. And then we have this on the cover itself. The tagline on the back is a story for anyone who's fallen for the villain. So I think it's very similar to Django Wexler's book, How to Become the Dark Lord and Die Trying. I think it's a similar idea. When her whole life collapsed, Ray still had books. Dying, she seizes a second chance at living. A magical bargain that lets her enter the world of her favorite fantasy series. And I think she ends up becoming the villain. This is an adult epic fantasy debut. I don't know if that means that this is her actual debut book or just her debut in adult works, because I'm not familiar with this particular author. At the end it says, expect a rogues gallery of villains, including an axe-wielding maid, a shining knight with dark moods, a homicidal bodyguard, and a playboy spy master with a golden heart and a filthy reputation. It's interesting that they describe this as epic fantasy. I would not describe this style as epic fantasy, and that's totally fine. We shall see what I think about this book, but I'm definitely intrigued. Okay, so I am back with the last unboxing segment. I have one special edition. I know it's a special edition because it's not the typical Fairy Loot box. Also, I have both of my Fairy Loot books. And then I have 2 regular subscriptions and 1 new subscription. I guess it's completely new, but I'll get to that in a moment. So let's start with the special edition. I have several special editions ordered from both Illumicrate and Fairy Loot. So I don't know which of those this is, but let's get that open. All right, so I believe this is the second in a duology, and it is Hearts That Cut. It is the second, and I guess the conclusion to the duology that started with Threads That Bind. We've got the design here on the edges, so pretty. We've got end page art. I love the simplicity of this. And then different on both sides. We have the very simple, that's very similar to the cover design of the original. I like that. So that is the special edition. Oh, there is a reverse dust cover art. Oh, that's so pretty. I really like that. It is fully reversible. And I love the whole in the stars sort of thing, the celestial aspect, because this is based on Greek mythology. Okay, so next I'm going to get to the new to me subscription. This is the adult book only subscription. I have been on the waiting list for their book only versions for a while. This was the first subscription that I got, and also the first subscription that I canceled because I wasn't a super fan of the items that they had in their boxes, and their books weren't really customized. That's changing. Not the items part, but the customization of the books. And periodically I've gotten invitations to subscribe again, but they've been books that I haven't been interested in, so I just deferred and went back to the wait list. This time it was a book that I was interested in. It just so happens to be the exact same book that I already have. A Sorceress Comes to Call. I saw that and I went, I really want to get onto this subscription and to start getting it and seeing if I really like it. And they have a really great skip policy. They don't have a limit to it like Fairy Loot does. So if I'd realized that I was going to get access to the subscription for August, I would not have selected this from Book of the Month, and I also wouldn't have gotten the other book. I just would have skipped Book of the Month for the first time ever. That being said, I probably, if I don't read the audiobook version, will read the Book of the Month version. Still totally fine. And if I really, really love it, then I'm going to be really glad that I have a special edition of it. So here is the spoiler card. That is very pretty. Bound by Magic is the theme. Obviously, I know what it is. Again, with the squiggles, the paper squiggles, and the shrink wrapped book. Both Owlcrate and Illumicrate do that. Oh, that's so cute. There's a quote on the box. We read to know we are not alone. C.S. Lewis. I really like that. All right, so here is the Owlcrate version. It is very square. A previous, one of the other booktubers that I watched that had done an unboxing mentioned how square it was, and it's not typical of hardcovers because you can tell that this edge here is more rounded than this, and it's also a fairly big height difference here. So if you look, and there's some of the sprayed edges at the thickness, this one looks thicker because it is shorter. Not that there's more text in it. But I do like the design. And the fact that it's a shorter hardcover doesn't really bother me. This is one of the first Owlcrate books that I've gotten that has had a design on their sprayed edges. They're definitely stepping up their game with that. One thing that getting a special edition of this book that the Book of the Month version does not have is a signature. You see that signature there, and I really like T. Kingfisher's books. And the author letter is bound into the book. So there is reverse dust cover art, but this is not a reversible dust cover. And then we've got some gorgeous foiling on this. I like how solid the cover feels. It's hard to describe. I really like this. I'm very hopeful. I have really enjoyed T. Kingfisher's fantasy works. Nettle and Bone was absolutely fantastic. Thornhenge was good. Wasn't my all-time favorite. And then A Wizard's Guide to Defensive Banking, which I just read in August. Loved again. So I'm hopeful for good things from this one. And this may or may not be on the Goodreads list. So I'll have this just in case. Okay, so now I have my Caffeine and Legends box. And I'm very confused. Because I'm pretty sure that the West Passage that I have over here was a Caffeine and Legends box. And this arrived in August. So I don't know if this is the September box or not. It is the September box. So the September box came early, was shipped even before that. So technically this is August unboxings plus a September box. So we have the coffee first. Oh, I love the design on that. That's really cool. This is Z-Beans Ecuadorian coffee. Sorry, I have a special spot in my heart for Ecuador. I got to go there 3 times. It's a honey roast? Interesting. I am very intrigued by this. So then we have the items. Oh my word, I love this. It's tic-tac-toe. A travel tic-tac-toe with designs. I've got to get these out. Oh, that is so cute. I have to make sure I have all the pieces. Obviously, I'm going to keep the pieces in that bag, but we've got individual pieces that are so intricately designed. This is gorgeous. I love that. So I think those are the two basic types, the mushroom and the flower. That is so cute. So this is by Ellie Joe Design Company. I'm going to slide that back into the bag so I don't lose any of those really pretty pieces. Okay, so the other thing that it has in here, usually there's 2 items. I don't know that I will ever use this because I don't annotate much, but they're very pretty, but I will probably end up giving those away. They are archival quality. Oh, nice. So they won't ruin the page if you use them. I will be giving these away though, because I don't tend to annotate. And now we have the book. And this is a paperback, and it is, ooh, that looks Norse inspired. This is The Last Shield by Cameron Johnston. Okay, so there's a female main character. It doesn't say that it has Norse mythology vibes or Nordic vibes, but the shield is really giving me that. And it talks a lot about shields. Oh, interesting. Okay, so there's a forest and it has its elite shields, and they're protecting a place called the Worm Vault, and there's vicious brigands, treacherous allies, and a female leader of the shields named Briar. The odds may be against her, but she'll see every enemy head adorning a spike or she'll die trying. Sounds very intriguing. And so now, the last one that I'm going to unbox is Broken Binding for the month, and it is book 2 in the Greenbone Saga. Interesting. Maybe this is also September? I'm so confused. Because the last quarter would be October, November, December. So maybe it's not. Because I have Jade City in the stack over here, so maybe that one came late. So July, August, September. Okay, so this is the August book. July just must have come late. Or at least after I finished filming the July unboxings. Okay, we got a beautiful present here. So this one will be adding to my TBR. Jade City will not. I've already read that. It's not pulling. Went better that time. Again, I think I say this every time, but I love that these are hand wrapped. So here it is, Jade War book 2. Again, we have the stained glass imagery. We have it on the side. One thing I found interesting, because I was watching someone else's video, I forget which video it was, but it was Patrick of Patrick Leo, and he had his books on the shelf, books from Broken Binding, but he had the spray pages out, and on each of them, there's a circle in red going around something to do with the character. Well, there's a circle. This one's in blue. I haven't read the whole series, so it probably is significant. I just don't know what the significance is. That is really fascinating. I hadn't looked at the back. It's very gritty and realistic, which seems to fit the series. So we have end page art. Oh, I'm sorry. The art on this, probably my absolute favorite end page art that I've ever seen. This is my kind of art. I love it. And so here is the front. I think this design or something very similar was used on the Fairy Loot editions of these. I'm very excited to get to the rest of this series. It didn't blow me away in the first book, but I was intrigued enough to keep it on my want to read list as far as series goes. And the more that I see these editions and the more that I think and dwell on what I read in that first book, the more impactful it has become and the more it's bumped up my want to read list. So I'm so excited that I have these. As opposed to July, where my stack was a lot smaller, I have quite a few books that I'm going to try to lift up in a second. And I'm not mad about it because they're all so pretty. Obviously, I'm going to have it on the sprayed edge side, because I think all 2 or 3 of these books have sprayed edges, which I can't lie. I love a pretty book. Thanks so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next one.